protests with their feet. WAFB's George Caldwell standing by live at the New Jerusalem Church with this live report.
Well, we've got a group of people out here who are not real happy. Supplemental Fuels Incorporated is the name of a company out of Memphis, Tennessee, that is looking to build a hazardous waste retooling plant. It's a treatment plant, not really a recycling plant, so folks say here. And they're going to build it right in this area, which already has a lot of plants along, a lot of different chemical plants along the river. You know, you walk through here, you see quite a few folks. They're all coming out here. They're going to do a march down to the plant, kind of a candlelight vigil sort of thing. I'd say about 50 people in the area right now, and they're looking to have over 100 before they get going later on tonight. Now, one of their complaints is the fact that they weren't notified that this was going to happen until not real far in advance of the first meetings with the Department of Environmental Quality over the subject, and they say that they're making up for lost time on that issue. This was the scene in May when Supplemental Fuels had a meeting before the Department of Environmental Quality. Today the protests aren't as vocal, but you barely pass a yard in San Gabriel without one of these anti-SFI signs. They seem to be everywhere. And as the project moves forward, residents are getting more angry and more nervous.
It's a one-way street in and the same street back out. If they have some kind of disaster, explosion, or spill, all these people would be trapped around in this area.
Meanwhile, the local police jury has heard these protesters, and they're mad too. They say DEQ didn't listen when the jury opposed the plant.
Before they even read the report that they asked the jury to turn in, the next day, which was a Wednesday, they had gave SFI the draft permit.
But DEQ says the technical issues take up the early part of the process, and that comments from the public will bear equal weight. They also insist the SFI plant has some positive elements.
We do encourage reuse of hazardous waste. We encourage recycling of hazardous waste, and we're certainly for reclamation for energy recovery. And those are very environmentally sound mechanisms that are used by the industries today.
Okay, now they say it's a recycling thing, the DEQ folks do. Now, we've got some people here who say they've looked up the regulations with the national environmental groups, and they say that it is not a recycling program that they're going to have with SFI. But for the time being, it's just a matter of people speaking up. They're going to have a public hearing on this issue on August 6th, and that should go a long way in determining what's going to happen. We hear from the Department of Environmental Quality that Kai Midbo will make the final decision, and that should come sometime this fall. George, Donna?
Okay, thanks very much, George Caldwell. And the march comes tonight, beginning at the New Jerusalem Church down at St. Gabriel.
Residents in St. Gabriel are gearing up tonight for what they expect to be a long, vocal fight.
No toxic waste! No SFI!
But toxic waste is just what Supplemental Fuels Incorporated, or SFI, wants to bring here, and area residents are fighting it. The plant will process hazardous waste, treating it so it can be reused. The application has already passed through DEQ's technical review process, but they still have to face the community. DEQ says the proposed plant appears to have a good purpose, but the residents say, not for here.
We do encourage reuse of hazardous waste. We encourage recycling of hazardous waste, and we're certainly for reclamation for energy recovery. And those are very environmentally sound mechanisms that are used by the industries today.
No SFI! No toxic waste!
DEQ Secretary Kai Midbo will make the final decision, which is expected sometime in the fall.
In St. Gabriel tonight, more than 100 residents came together to fight what they call the common enemy. Supplemental Fuels Incorporated wants to build a hazardous waste processing plant in the community. And this march is the residents' way of saying, once again, they don't want the plant near their homes. They say it would be dangerous because, among other reasons, the site is in an isolated community with only one road leading in and out.
It's the safety hazard I'm worried about, you know. And then if they have a spill, they're talking about bringing railroad track. Suppose you have a spill from a rail car or from a truck turn over or something. You have no evacuating route, none whatsoever. So
we could not reach a company spokesman for a response tonight, but a public hearing on the issue is scheduled for Friday, August 6th at the East Iberville Elementary School.
Well, more than 100 San Gabriel residents are banding together to fight what they call the common enemy. Supplemental Fuels Incorporated wants to build a hazardous waste processing plant in the community. And this march last night is the residents' way of saying, once again, They don't want the plant near their homes. They say it would be dangerous because, among other reasons, the site is in an isolated community with only one road leading in and out.
It's the safety hazard I'm worried about, you know. And then if they have a spill, they're talking about bringing railroad track. Supposing you have a spill from a rail car or from a truck turning over or something, you have no evacuating route, none whatsoever. So,
now then, we cannot reach a company spokesman for our response, but a public hearing on the issue is scheduled for Friday, August the 6th at East Iberville Elementary School. Now,